Rose raises cattle on the vast open range. She spends her days ensuring her herd is healthy and well fed, navigating the expansive landscape with skill and dedication. Frank cultivates corn on his sprawling fields. His expertise in agriculture allows him to grow abundant crops, carefully tending to each plant to ensure a bountiful harvest. Both work hard under the sun, their labor-intensive days filled with tasks that demand strength and perseverance. They are the picture of self-sufficiency, each producing all they need to survive. Their skills and hard work ensure they have enough to feed themselves and their families. Rose, a skilled rancher, can produce 10 pounds of beef or a bushel of corn in a day. Her efficiency in managing both livestock and crops is impressive. Frank, a capable farmer, can produce 5 pounds of beef or 2 bushels of corn in the same amount of time. His focus on crop cultivation makes him a master of his trade. On the surface, Rose seems to have an advantage. Her ability to produce more of both commodities suggests she might be better off working independently. She's more productive at both ranching and farming than Frank. Her higher output in both areas makes her seem like the superior producer. She might think, why bother trading? I'm better at both. But this is a common misconception that overlooks the benefits of specialization. This is where the concept of comparative advantage comes in, which lies at the heart of why trade makes everyone richer. By focusing on what they do best, both Rose and Frank can benefit from each other's strengths. Imagine Rose and Frank only produce for themselves. They each have to manage both cattle herding and corn farming, splitting their time and energy between these two demanding tasks. Rose, needing both beef and corn, might spend half her time on each activity. This means she has to juggle the responsibilities of both, which can be quite exhausting and inefficient. This would yield 5 pounds of beef and half a bushel of corn. It's a modest amount, reflecting the divided attention and effort. Frank, doing the same, would produce 2.5 pounds of beef and a bushel of corn. His output is similarly limited by the need to switch between tasks. Combined, they'd have 7.5 pounds of beef and 1.5 bushels of corn. This is their total production without any specialization. Now, let's introduce specialization. If Rose focuses solely on raising cattle, she produces 10 pounds of beef. By dedicating all her time and resources to one task, she becomes much more efficient. If Frank concentrates on farming, he produces 2 bushels of corn. Specializing allows him to master his craft and significantly increase his output. By specializing, their combined output increases to 10 pounds of beef and 2 bushels of corn. This is a substantial improvement over their previous combined efforts. Specialization allows them to produce more with the same resources, leading to greater efficiency and productivity. This principle can be applied to various fields, demonstrating the power of focused effort. While Rose is better at producing both goods, absolute advantage, Frank has a comparative advantage in corn production. This means he produces corn at a lower opportunity cost than Rose. For every bushel of corn Frank produces, he gives up 2.5 pounds of beef. Rose, on the other hand, gives up 10 pounds of beef for every bushel of corn. Even though Rose is more productive overall, it makes sense for her to trade with Frank. She can focus on what she does best, raising cattle, and trade some of that beef for Frank's corn. This way they both end up with more than they could produce alone. This simple story illustrates a powerful truth. Trade, guided by comparative advantage, benefits everyone involved. It's a fundamental principle that underpins the global economy. It allows individuals, businesses, and even nations to specialize in what they do best and trade for the rest. This specialization leads to more efficient production and innovation. This leads to increased productivity, greater output, and a higher standard of living for all. The ripple effects of trade can be seen in every aspect of our lives. Think of Tom Brady mowing his lawn. While he might be the best quarterback and even the best lawnmower in his neighborhood, his true value lies elsewhere. He might be the best quarterback and even the best lawnmower in his neighborhood. However, his time is better spent practicing football and letting someone else mow his lawn. This way, he can maximize his contribution to his team and fans. However, his time is better spent practicing football and letting someone else mow his lawn. This is a perfect example of how comparative advantage works on an individual level. This is comparative advantage in action. It's a principle that can be applied to various scenarios, from personal decisions to international trade policies. Similarly, nations that specialize in producing goods and services for which they have a comparative advantage and then trade with other nations experience higher economic growth and prosperity. This interconnectedness fosters global cooperation and mutual benefit. Trade is not a zero-sum game, it's a rising tide that lifts all boats. By embracing comparative advantage, we can create a more prosperous and interconnected world for everyone.